against the Atlanta Braves. After dropping the first two, they come back to win last night. And on a hot Sunday afternoon, here is Game 4, and we say welcome inside. Joe and Oral and Kelly Tennant joins us in just a moment. So the Braves pretty resoundingly took the first two of this series, but the Dodgers came back last night, 3 home runs to win it 6-2.
31 of their victories, 2 home runs or more, and then the power bats were there last night. It started off with the shortstop who leads the LA franchise with 45. That was his 16th. And then you turn to the Silver Fox, and that was his 6th. And Chris Taylor, with only a couple of bats, ends up with a triple and a home run. He brings the power also.
And Clayton Kershaw, the man on the mound for the Dodgers.
Clayton has been outstanding throughout this year. The last 5 starts have been absolutely amazing. But over the last 2 years, 27-6 with an ERA of 1.83. He's making another campaign for a 4th Cy Young.
And part of the lineup that will try to back him is Justin Turner. For more on the Dodger third baseman, hello, Kelly.
Hello, gentlemen. Happy Sunday afternoon. So there's a bug going around this clubhouse. We know Rich Hill was sick yesterday. Justin Turner missing the game yesterday. Dave Roberts actually sent him home to tell him to get better, get some rest. But he's back this morning telling us he has bronchitis. He is in the lineup, of course, but he's going to try and fight through this one. Of course, tough with the day game and all this heat, but he was showing us all the different things that the doctors gave him to try and get better, including a brand new inhaler that's supposed to help him. He wasn't sure exactly what it's doing since he's not a doctor, as he said, but hopefully he gets through this one feeling all right, guys.
Yeah, whatever it takes to get him in the lineup. Clayton Kershaw for the Dodgers. Sean Newcomb counters for Atlanta. First pitch from Dodger Stadium coming up on this Sunday afternoon. drive. Kershaw on this Sunday afternoon trying to split the series with the Atlanta Braves after taking last night's game 6-2. Braves took the first two games, snapping the Dodgers' 11-game winning streak, giving them their first back-to-back losses since early June, but back to their winning ways last night. Here is the starting lineup for Atlanta, brought to you by Honda. Ender Inciarte to lead it off for the fourth time in as many games in this series. Brandon Phillips had the last two nights off because of a hamstring issue. He's back in there. At third base, Freddie Freeman. That's because Matt Adams is back in the lineup at first. He bats behind Kemp, Markakis, and Flowers, and Camargo slides down and bats eighth against Clayton Kershaw, who leads the majors in wins and an ERA. And in his last 5 outings, 36 innings, and he's allowed 2 earned runs.
He's absolutely been fantastic. Early in the year, people were wondering why the long ball was very predictable with the fastball into righties, but now using both lanes, that arm side fastball has been laser perfect. And Clayton Kershaw's curveball, public enemy number 1, is only being hit at an average of 144. So fastball curveball combination is there, but don't forget about the slider, which really turned his career around and as far as made him as dominant as he is. And we're going to dig more into that fastball way to righties during the broadcast.
Dodgers have won 32 of their last 38 games. They have the best record in the majors and the best record at this point in the season since 1955, when the Dodger franchise won its first World Championship. The Braves, very quietly, have the second best record in the National League over the last month and a half. Only the Dodgers have been better. Still, though, they dug themselves such a large hole that they're pretty much out of it at this point. 8.5 back of the second wild card and 11 back in the division behind Washington.
Lots of decisions for the Braves because it's not just unload or not unload. There's that in between of, do we want to keep guys and kind of keep portions of this roster going ahead? So you would have thought they would start unloading veterans. Maybe not. Some of them have played so well they might want to keep them around.
Off we go with a swinging strike. Dodgers kept Inciarte off of the bases last night after he had 3 hits over the first 2 games, adding to his total that is 3rd in the majors. Breaks his bat and a little bouncer to Kershaw for the first out. 84 degrees this afternoon. Feels warmer though. A little bit of mugginess to it.
Yeah, it does feel there's not much of a breeze. The flags are moving a little bit, but don't feel it up here in the booth. Hopefully the players are catching a little break.
With one gone, here comes Brandon Phillips. Hitting .440 since the All-Star break. And so the Dodgers caught a bit of a break with him out the last 2 nights with a hamstring injury.
Most at bats of anybody on the Atlanta Braves against Clayton Kershaw. He has 28 in his history, hitting .321.
He takes ball 1. Which you don't say often with this Braves team. As we've seen this weekend, they're very aggressive. The highest swing percentage in the National League. One ball and 1 strike.
That's saying something when the Milwaukee Brewers are in the National League.
You're right about that.
We watch them hack.
Uh-huh. Well, the last time Kershaw pitched in this ballpark was the final day of the first half. That was against the team with the highest swing percentage in all of baseball in Kansas City. And that game lasted about 2 hours. A couple of ground ball outs to get this afternoon off and rolling.
Interesting to see if Brandon Phillips continues in this game. Slow coming out of the box. Rested a tight hamstring the last couple days.
It has been a pleasure to watch Freddie Freeman hit this weekend. Missed 7 weeks with a broken wrist. 2 rehab games, back in the majors, and hasn't missed a beat. Strike 1.
People rave about his hitting mechanics, his posture. He gets directly into it, never really leaves it now or when he starts to swing the bat.
It's behind 0-2.
Big fella has a very compact, powerful swing. And very good knowledge of the strike zone.
Hitting about a home run every 3 games this year. Kershaw downhill with an 0-2, and he gets him swinging with a slider on 8 pitches. Clayton Kershaw with a 1-2-3 first. In the bottom of the first inning, Chris Taylor is set to lead off this lineup, brought to you by Honda. And it'll be Corey Seager. Both those guys homered last night. Justin Turner's back in there. Cody Bellinger hitting cleanup. Forsythe at second, batting 5th. And right, it's Kike Hernandez with the left-hander on the mound. Barnes catches. Jock Peterson starts in center field. Sean Newcomb, 24 years old. He made his major league debut in early June and got off to a really nice start. In fact, he was the first pitcher in Braves history to open his career with 4 consecutive quality starts, had a sub-2 ERA, but things have gone south lately. An 11.37 ERA in 3 July starts.
July has not been good. The hitters have been hot against him. Fastball, curveball mainly, has a slider. The slider actually has the lowest batting average against, but he likes to throw the curveball more. And it really, at his young age at 23, just learning how to pitch at the big league level, it's about command.
His first pitch of the afternoon is a strike on Taylor. Third in the majors in July, hitting .429. What a fun night last night. Off of the bench to homer, and then triple. Nothing in 2. So if he gets single double in his first 2 plate appearances today, are we giving him the cycle?
For sure.
Yeah.
Jordan Spieth won the British Open today. He'll be going for the career Grand Slam when they play the PGA soon. So yeah, we'll give Chris Taylor the cycle if he gets double single or single double.
Ball 1. How in the world did you just work that reference in there?
I thought about it on the way in because I was watching the Open, and I'm like, you know what? Chris Taylor's getting a cycle. Is this kid going to go for a career Grand Slam soon? He pulled it off.
Huh.
Sorry, I was about a half hour late to the park today because I was watching the Open.
This is a bit of a stretch that I think he just came up with. It's okay, though.
It's been a great sports weekend for me. I mean, World Series of Poker final table, British Open, and the Dodgers playing the Braves for 4 games.
I'm happy for you.
You only got 1 out of 3 there. I got 3 out of 3.
Chris Taylor leading off for the Dodgers on this 1-2. He takes ball 2. Who would have thought we'd see the day where we'd say, huh, why is Chris Taylor not in the lineup? What's wrong? That was kind of the knee jerk yesterday when his name wasn't written in there. Full count.
That is a great eye right there. Doing a little research in the pregame show about chase percentage. This Dodger team is right up there at the top. One of the most disciplined teams at hitting strikes only.
Fouls it off. We'll do it again. Walks have been the problem in Sean Newcomb's pro career. And again, it's only 7 major league starts, but in the minors, the reason he didn't break in sooner after being a first-round pick was that he's had issues locating. Here he comes with another payoff. And Chris Taylor strokes a line drive, base hit to center. The beat goes on.
Shortstop number 5.
The hardest part of the cycle was last night, the triple and the home run. Now the easiest part, the base hit, and in 4 at-bats, in his next at-bat, if he gets a double, that would be quite an accomplishment. But right there, that single starts the Dodger offense off on a good foot right here.
And brings up Corey Seager in a scoreless first inning. With the longest home run in his Dodger Stadium career yesterday. Off of Julio Teheran, who he has owned. Healthy cut here on a high fastball, strike 1. Always see Corey chomping on that bubble gum. Only chews on one kind of gum. Original flavor big league chew gum. And there's a reason that he doesn't divert from that. One time in high school, he had grape big league chew instead of the regular kind, and 0 for 4 with 4 groundouts to second. He said never again.
He probably doesn't even eat grapes either on game days.
Gave those up too. Waits on this one and pulls one into a double play. How much you can do there, 2 out.
Third baseman, number 10.
Smokes this ball. Real easy for Adams, standing right there on the line after holding Chris Taylor on.
So 2 hard hit balls, but 2 out, and here is Justin Turner. Leading the majors with that .371 average. They had Yasmani Grandal earlier this week, homer. Same day that he got a root canal. Now Justin Turner in there with bronchitis. Ball 1.
He's spotting Sean Newcomb a little strength, but with his rhythm, just get the bones lined up correctly and get the bat out front. He'll be trying to hit a fly ball.
Newcomb last pitched on Tuesday against the Cubs, gave up 5 runs on 8 hits and 3 walks. Here comes with a 2-0. Turner takes a strike. How about this? 12 2/3 innings in July for Newcomb. 33 base runners.
Pitching from the stretch a lot. He hadn't had much practice from the windup.
No. On a 2-1. Drops one over the inside corner, 2-2.
Pretty sweet pitch to get back into a count against the best hitter in the big leagues.
Another breaking ball, and this one slap foul. Turner riding an 18-game on-base streak. You don't win batting titles for on-base percentage, but he leads the majors in that as well.
Great 2-strike hitter right there, just fighting off a breaking ball that he thought might catch the outside corner, up there surviving.
Strikes out here on a fastball to 95, and the inning is over. Dodgers hit a couple of bullets, but Newcomb faces the minimum. Braves finishing off a 4-game series, but the homestand rolls on. The Twins come in tomorrow, and then the Giants for a 3-game series over the weekend. Clayton Kershaw scheduled to start the 2nd game of that series. 1-2-3 first inning for him on just 8 pitches, and now he'll begin the 2nd against his old teammate Matt Kemp, who has been impressive this weekend. Word out of Atlanta is that he is a different guy than his reputation had become here and in San Diego, where the Dodgers traded him for Yasmani Grandal. Little jam shot, Logan Forsythe. 1 out.
Clayton Kershaw has his location. We know he always has the stuff, but if he has his location against a team that is swinging as much as Atlanta does, this could be a very good game with a lot of weak contact.
Well, that's what we saw in his last start here against Kansas City, where he went the distance. I mean, those guys are up there hacking from the minute they step into the batter's box, and Kershaw preyed on that.
And Clayton has had 3 games to watch the Braves from the bench and then watch them and evaluate them on TV.
Strike one on Markakis.
You're always reassured when you see them up close and personal from your own bench and then on the TV in the video room. You really feel good about your pitch selection when you have this much personal experience so close to the game.
A slider. Forsythe again. 2 up, 2 down, and 5 up, 5 down for Kershaw.
Game 1 of a series, you have the information from the scouts and the scouting report, and you've watched guys on TV. Game 4 of a series, when you've seen them 3 times yourself, so much more comfortable.
And so much more uncomfortable on the other side for these Braves, who have struggled against Kershaw his entire career. Obviously, there's not the same guys that he's faced every time he's seen Atlanta, but his numbers against the Braves, his best against any team in the National League. Tyler Flowers looks at ball 1. Clayton's made 8 starts against Atlanta lifetime. He is 3-0 with a 1.52. One ball and 1 strike. Two and 1.
Clayton always at home at Dodger Stadium, but today with this heat, it's got to feel a little bit like Texas for him. You know he feels at home.
Dodgers have won 27 of his last 30 home starts. Dave Roberts coming out.
Clayton's mechanics look very methodical and a little slow, so I wonder what they're looking at. He is not really attacking with his body the way he normally does.
And Nathan Lucero, the trainer, too.
From behind the plate, we take a look at Clayton's delivery, and it just you don't see the grunting, you don't see the aggressiveness that you normally see with him. He's kind of pulling up a little short right after the follow through. There's definitely something that they know about, because in the mechanics there's no real major flinch. Looked like right there he was almost like testing his front hip.
Mm-hmm.
And the question is not can you continue, the question is if you continue, will it make you get shut down later or miss starts in the future? So you understand that athletes have a very high pain tolerance and definitely can continue, but Dave Roberts has to weigh in his mind the risk factor of letting him continue today and what will result if you continue to push something that seems to be irritated.
Of course, spent a long time in the DL last year with a back issue. He walks Flowers, and Atlanta has its first base runner of the day.
First baseman number 18, Matt Adams.
Of course, hold your breath as soon as you see the training staff running out to talk to Clayton Kershaw. And now that you see him going on, it's not as much holding your breath as it is squinting and peering really closely to see how he reacts moving forward. Matt Adams swings and misses, strike 1.
Ross Stripling getting up. Clayton threw that last fastball at 91. Seemed to be pretty good effort level. If it's something wrong with the lower half, you don't want that to creep up to the arm. And so what happens as a pitcher is you can throw hard with just your arm, but the way your arm gets protected and can go for a long time at this activity level is with the strength of your core and your legs.
One and two.
Once you also have something irritated somewhere, usually in the lower half, if it changes your delivery, then it changes the stress in the different areas of your body, and you might start stressing an area that's not usually used to pitching.
He strikes out Adams. Superhuman. Able to fight through whatever he's feeling. They get his second K of the game. 2 innings, no hits against him. In this game, he goes down into the tunnel, and Ross Stripling has continued to throw in the Dodger bullpen.
Yeah, Stripling continuing to throw. Clayton looking like he's going to probably go get some treatment. We'll see what happens. Maybe the decision hasn't been made yet, but they want Stripling to be ready just in case Dave Roberts, Rick Honeycutt, and Clayton Kershaw pull the plug.
Middle part of the order for the Dodgers here in the second. Cody Bellinger to lead it off against Sean Newcomb. Ball one. Boy, it can't help but put a pit in your stomach. And you watch Kershaw leave the game.
So important to this team to have the big fella out there every fifth day. And the Dodgers with a 10.5 game lead. You have some room there to make sure he's okay. It's not like this is middle of September and it's a 1-game lead, or you're chasing somebody by a game where you really gut it out.
Bellinger bounces one to first. A backhand by Matt Adams. He'll slide to the bag in time to get him.
Newcomb a little late breaking, falling off the third base. Adams assuming that he's going to be there in time, then realizing he's not. So then it becomes a foot race, and a dangerous foot race at that, because Cody Bellinger can fly. Adams doesn't want to keep running into him, so he slides, which really protects Cody and himself by making this decision right here to slide into the bag.
And again, Matt Adams is the first baseman most days at this point for Atlanta, with Freddie Freeman over at third. Logan Forsythe the bat with one out in the second inning. And buzzes his feet, ball one. Adams was acquired from St. Louis when Freeman went down with a broken wrist and has absolutely killed it. So when Freeman was ready to come back, he had the idea to move over to third and allow Adams' bat to stay in the lineup. Here's a 1-0. That's ball 2.
We've seen Ross Stripling throwing in the bullpen. He'll have as much time as he wants if Dave Roberts informs the umpiring crew they're making a change because of an injury. So Ross does not have to speed it up down there like he's coming in relief without extra time.
High fly ball down the right field line that Markakis can't quite get to. Two and one. Sean Newcomb, who was a first-round pick of the Angels in 2014, came over to the Braves in the Angelton Simmons trade. He sent the slick fielding shortstop to Anaheim. And Newcomb was the key piece in return. High fly ball to deep center field. Inciarte's back. Logan Forsythe bangs one off the wall for a one-out double.
Ball's hit very hard, and Logan Forsythe knows at the moment of contact, but there is no stop and stare for him. He gets out of that box and busts it down to second. He's taking a little glance, but he is running. Ball carrying real well in this temperature today.
And we talk about how well it flies during batting practice here at Dodger Stadium during the mid-afternoon hours, and get to play a game in those conditions today. Kike Hernandez swinging a red-hot bat, especially against left-handed pitching lately. Strike one. And quite a week for Hernandez. He's 5 for 10, 2 home runs and a double. 2 home runs came in the same game against left-handed Carlos Rodon in Chicago earlier this week. With Forsythe at second and 1 out, the 0-1 pitch is swung on and missed for strike 2.
Ross Stripling has been a pinch runner this year. If the Dodgers would happen to really get hot here before Kershaw's at bat, Ross Stripling could enter this game as a pinch hitter.
Save your bench.
Especially if you all of a sudden got 2 or 3 runs before he got up there.
One and two. Two and two. Dustin Denti, our director, makes a good point. And that is, if you did do that, then you would lose the ability to have as long as you want to warm him up, because then Kershaw would no longer be removed technically for injury. So they'd be assuming he was ready to go.
I'm not so sure about that.
Really?
Yeah, because he's already in the game, but he hasn't pitched yet. So you would say my pitcher got removed for a hitter. You're right. I don't know how that rule reads in that amendment. The rule book is so thick. The one we don't get to see. There's the amendment rule book, which is probably about 500 pages. And then there's the little rule book, the normal one. But that is a good point. And if Dave Roberts would actually think about that, he would make sure Ross is ready to pitch. He wouldn't probably speed up his routine. And I think Ross is ready to pitch because he stopped throwing, went into the bullpen area, got a drink of water, toweled off, and now he's back to the mound.
Here comes the payoff, and Hernandez walks after falling behind 0-2. Up and down this lineup, these Dodgers are coming with great at-bats each day.
One of the lowest chase percentages in big leagues, this Dodger team, and there's nothing worse to face as a pitcher than good hitters that make you throw strikes.
Here's one of them in Austin Barnes. 4 of the 5 home runs have come against lefties this year. Now with 2 on and 1 out in the scoreless second, he'll face one here. Oh, and 1. Barnes a pinch hit single last night, came in to score. 2 for 4 in this series. Newcomb deals 0-1, and Barnes looks at strike 2.
Trace Thompson moving around down in the Dodger dugout right now. His batting gloves on and stretching with a bat.
A fastball gets him, 2 out. And it is Thompson into the on-deck circle. Dave Roberts won't have to worry about that decision unless Jock Peterson can keep the line moving. Peterson 1 for his last 14, coming up with a single last night for his first hit since last Saturday in Miami. Making only his 7th start against a left-handed pitcher this year. Ball 1. One out double for Forsythe. He's at second. Hernandez at first after walking. And Newcomb to Peterson with a 1-0 pitch. Breaking pitches in there, and it's 1-1. Two and 1. Started the season in AAA. Was called up 2 days before his 24th birthday to make his major league debut with Bartolo Colon let go. The circle of baseball life there. Colon on his way out to Minnesota. He'll start here tomorrow, actually, but near the tail end of his career. Opening the door for the youngster Newcomb, who buzzes outside. 3-1.
Because he's young and because he's struggling could be the reason that Jock's in the lineup. Dave Roberts likes to pick his spots against left-handers that maybe don't have outstanding breaking balls or tremendous velocity. Give Jock a shot to ease in against lefties.
See if he gets a pitch to drive on 3-1. You'll have to wait a bit. Time is called. The rookie from Brockton, Massachusetts. Imposing figure out there at 6'5". Home with a 3-1 pitch. Breaking ball is inside, and they're loaded up for Thompson.
Now batting, pinch hitter number 21, Trace Thompson.
It has been a rough go of it for Thompson since his call-up in late June and especially lately, trying to get it going on this homestand.
He has such a great frame and body for being an outstanding baseball player. The one thing he does have is really long arms, so the swing can get long. You've got to find a way to tighten that up to get more contact.
First pitch curve, strike one. It's a really important part of the Dodger roster in the first half last year before his back injury. Took him some time to get healthy from that and then to trust it once he was healthy. Slow start in the minors. Similarly slow start since his call-up. Early opportunity for the Dodgers against Newcomb. Forsythe at third, Hernandez at second, Peterson at first, and a scoreless second inning. Newcomb has used a 95-mile-per-hour fastball for both his strikeouts. Does it again. So the Dodgers leave them loaded here in the second, and we expect Ross Stripling to come in here. Kershaw was moving right along, how we're used to seeing him, with a 1-2-3 first inning on 8 pitches. Finished it off with a strikeout of Freddie Freeman, but then the training staff, Nathan Lucero, came out midway through the second. He was able to finish the second with a strikeout, but just didn't look like himself in doing so. Back into the clubhouse and Stripling on for him.
Hey, you just hold your breath when Clayton goes down into the clubhouse. We don't know exactly what the ailment is, but we know it was significant enough to get him out of the game. And here we see Mr. Stripling, who has been a jack of all trades and a master of all. Not afraid to put him in there in a setup role. Even if you got past Kenley Jansen in an extra inning game, you'd trust him with a save opportunity. But here, asked to eat some innings.
He's made 4 appearances here in July and has not given up a run. Anything in length from him. Twice this season he's gone 3 full innings, and of course is a starter by trade. So he comes into a scoreless third and faces 8-9-1 in the Braves order. Here's Johan Camargo to lead it off, taking ball 1. Camargo hitting above 400 over the last few weeks, and it seems like he's here to stay. 23-year-old rookie out of Panama. Swings and misses, 1-1.
On the left side, he looks a little bit like Robinson Cano when he goes about his business in the batter's box.
1-2. Cano having another big year. Seattle charging back into things. Right there in the wild card picture. Just a couple of games back.
I know I first glanced at the stat sheet and saw 17 out behind Houston.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
like, oh, yeah, they're battling back.
Knocking on the door. A roller past the mound. Forsythe charges and gets Camargo for the first out. Yeah, 17 back of the Astros, but the Mariners are only, let's see, 2.5 back of the Tampa Bay Rays for the second wild card spot.
They're bumping up against 500 now at 49-50. That's usually the first mark as a team you're looking at. Let's get to 500 and then let's start to expand.
Sean Newcomb looking for his first career major league hit. Ross Stripling got his against his good friend and former college teammate Michael Wacha last May. Two guys faced off head-to-head that night. Stripling won and got the hit.
And had to pay for dinner.
I think it was the other way around.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Loser had to pay.
Loser had to pay for the dinner.
Oh.
Don't want to start any game throwing scandal here. Got to pay for dinner. He might not go as hard. Pay for dinner with a win.
That's true. Rule 21. I don't think it includes dinner.
Yeah. That's down the middle for strike 3. 2 up and 2 down here in the third. RBI Baseball 2017 is out now for Xbox One, PS4, iOS, and Android. And enjoy fast up and play MLB action packed with all your favorite teams and players and ballparks. Your breakout MLB season is here. Learn more at MLB or RBIGame.com. Braves still without a base hit. The lone base runner, a 2-out walk from Tyler Flowers last inning against Kershaw. Second time through the order, but the first time Inciarte sees Stripling. Ball 1. One and one. Final a game of 4 between these teams in this series, but the Dodgers will return the favor to Atlanta first 3 days in August. So they'll play the Braves 7 times in a 13-game span. Three and one. Be our first look at their new ballpark, SunTrust Park in Atlanta. This guy here, you know, in the media guides you can find all the firsts in a ballpark. He's going to basically own them. Caught the stadium's first out, which was on the first pitch of the game. Got the stadium's first hit and the stadium's first home run. He walks here to keep this third inning alive against Stripling.
Number 4, Brandon Phillips.
So with 2 outs, here's Brandon Phillips.
Ross Stripling working on 1-day rest, but in that outing he only threw 1 pitch. So then you go back 3 days and you see that he threw 23 pitches with 3 days rest, and that's probably what they'll be looking at on the bench when they determine his workload today.
Runner takes off. Barnes' throw won't get Inciarte, who's in scoring position with 2 out.
Ross Stripling slow from the mound, and Austin Barnes rushing as much as possible, didn't throw the ball accurately, but really good jump, and he was going to make it no matter what. Quick review of the signs of what they'll use with a man on second.
Here comes an 0-1, and Phillips swings and hits one inside the bag to put the Braves in front. Brandon Phillips on his way to second. Hernandez's throw is not in time, and an RBI double from Brandon Phillips starts the scoring.
Number 5, Freddie Freeman.
Let's first take a look at the Audi pitch cast as tries to come up and in, throws it away. Brandon Phillips looking like he almost knew what the location was going to be because he was opening up the front side and opening up, and then the ball ending up away. Just kind of cue shots it down the first baseline. Subtle ways to give what side of the plate or the other that a catcher is setting up when you have a man on second. Looked like Brandon thought they were coming in where the target was.
Number 27, Matt Kemp.
They put Freeman on intentionally and bring up Matt Kemp with 2 on and 2 out. So the Braves, like they did in the first 2 games of this series, their 2 wins, have the first run. 6-3 in game 1, 12-3 in game 2. Those 12 runs in game 2, those are the most runs the Braves have ever scored in this ballpark.
That is since 1962 when Dodger Stadium opened. That was the first year of the 162 game schedule.
Ball 1 on Kemp.
154 before that.
Hard hit. Seager stumbles while he grabs it and throws to first to retire the side. The Braves get 1 and a base hit from Phillips. To the bottom of the 3rd, Chris Taylor will lead it off.
It is Chris Taylor's last 3 at-bats, a home run last night and a pinch hit appearance, and then here he comes with a triple right after that to score 2 more. Contributed for 3 of the runs, and then the first at-bat today, a line drive to center for a single. 3 out of 4 parts of the cycle. Here we go for the 4th part.
And to be clear, it wouldn't officially be one, but in your book it will be.
Yeah, why not?
So the Dodgers playing from behind now, and Chris Taylor up there swinging and missing at Newcomb's first pitch. Said after the game last night that rough June was a mechanical thing. He was moving his head too much. Not seeing the ball as well as a result. Was diving out over the plate. Tries to lay off but can't, and it's 0-2. So watched a ton of video. First identified the problem and then went to work trying to iron things out and really just simplify again. And it has worked. Number 3 in baseball in batting average in July. One and two. All 3 strikeouts have been on fastballs for Newcomb. Here he goes with a breaking ball, and it's short. Camargo for the first out.
Number 5, Corey Seager.
Brings up Seager, who lined into a double play his first time, but can't hit it much harder than he did.
Corey has really been swinging the bat well. That was just another example of a line drive he's been hitting. The home run last night was to the right side, but I would see him peppering the left side again where he normally hits the ball. He wears out that left center gap. Line drives over the left fielder's head. Doesn't usually use the left field line very much. Stays on the ball so well and is so patient to make sure it's a strike at times that his approach is to hit the ball the opposite field. That's why his average always hovers right around 300.
On a 2-0 pitch, he takes low. That's ball 3. If there's one thing that still kind of an Achilles heel for him, it is left-handed pitchers who try to get him to chase with hard breaking stuff. That is one tiny weakness that not too many people can exploit, as evidenced by those numbers. A 4-pitch walk, and the Dodgers quickly put the tying run on here in the 3rd.
Number 10, Justin Turner.
Up comes Turner, playing hero today, up there with bronchitis. I mean, you think about getting bronchitis as a kid, you'd be laying on the couch, shivering, watching movies.
Trying to figure out a way to stay out of school for a few more days.
Right. A lot of chicken noodle soup, and Turner's out there in mid-80s temperatures, facing a 95-mile-per-hour fastball. 1 on, 1 out. Breaking balls popped in the air, right center. Markakis and Inciarte, who makes the call and the catch at the last moment for out number 2.
Number 35, Cody Bellinger.
Here's Bellinger. Some tough luck in this series for Bellinger. Hit a few right at people. Braves have had him positioned well with a shortstop on the right side of the infield, and like 3 or 4 balls he's hit directly there.
Has still managed to get 3 hits, 3 for 12 in the series, but boy, he would be having an amazing series if they wouldn't have had that defender there. Pretty even splits, lefties again or righties throwing the ball to him.
Breaking ball, and he sends a high fly ball to right. It's playable for Markakis. Inning over. Just barely got under this one. Stay cool on this warm day with the Dodgers down 1 after 3. LA is brought to you by the all-new 2017 Chrysler Pacifica, the new benchmark of minivans, and by Jack in the Box. Come try the new sweet or spicy barbecue bacon cheeseburger and chicken sandwich. Limited time only. Atlanta 1, the Dodgers nothing. On to the fourth inning. Joe Davis, Orel Hershiser, Kelly Tennant. Game 4 and a 10-game homestand with the Twins up next and then the Giants over the weekend. And if you're just tuning in and wondering why Ross Stripling is out there on a Clayton Kershaw day, Kershaw leaving the game with some kind of injury after 2 innings, following the training staff back down into the clubhouse. Markakis to lead off the fourth against Stripling, who pitched a scoreless third, or gave up 1 in the third, beg your pardon. He's in there, strike 1.
You cross your fingers with Clayton Kershaw that this is not a lingering issue. That you remember last year he went down on June 26th against Pittsburgh. He was on the DL for a while, was only able to make 21 starts in the regular season last year. He's already made 21 this year, this one being the 21st was today.
Markakis digs it out, lunging is Forsythe, and he throws him out. Logan Forsythe has been so solid defensively this year, whether it's at his natural position at second or over at third for Turner.
The Morongo slow-mo cam doesn't catch the first step, but that's where the play was made, and then to just get the radar functioning to find Cody Bellinger there at first, spinning and wheeling towards the right field line. Gets his elbow underneath the baseball to kind of make it curve back to him. Very nice play.
And I say his natural position, I guess it's become that. It's technically probably not right. He grew up playing third base. Started playing primarily second while he was in the minors. Tyler Flowers shoots one to right for a base hit. Hernandez comes up and thinks about it, but instead he'll throw it into the cutoff man after a 1-out single.
How you play any position as an amateur before you get to pro ball instruction is usually something that you can wash away most of the amateur instruction. When all of a sudden you have somebody like a Chris Woodward or anybody that is a great infield instructor, Juan Castro, all of a sudden at the professional level teaching you how to play a position, the light bulb goes on how to do the footwork and how to make the throws and where to do things and how to do them.
Matt Adams pushes it foul, strike 1. In Forsythe's case, he moved to second because the Padres, where he was, had Chase Headley, who had that one huge year, signed a new contract because of it. He was at third and blocking Forsythe, more or less. He played second to clear the path for him to the majors and eventually made it there as mostly a utility man. It's up, ball 1.
How many blockers has Chris Taylor had to go through?
Yeah.
That blocker of I can't play the outfield. Now his regular position is left field. When he was needed, center field was more comfortable. He's had a blocker of Corey Seager at short, a blocker of Justin Turner at third, blocker of Utley and Forsythe at second.
Adams gets under this one. First real test of that sunshine for the Dodger fielders, and Corey Seager has it spotted for the second out. I was thinking even back to the Seattle days.
Right.
Wasn't covered up at short necessarily. They haven't been too strong there, but Kyle Seager at third, Robinson Cano at second. You're not getting in there.
Nope. And he really was not even thought of as an outfielder when he was at Seattle.
The shortstop was his spot there.
Mm-hmm.
But no wiggle room on that. And here he has proven that he can wiggle and play just about anywhere. That was his ticket in, but his bat is what's given him the right to stay what looks like could be a long time. Strike 1 on Johan Camargo. And 2.
Justin Turner had D. Gordon as a blocker at second when he didn't win the job there, and then Juan Uribe at third when he didn't win the job there. Started as a utility guy also.
Cody Bellinger broke in left because he was blocked at first by Adrian Gonzalez.
Yep.
He muscles this one to Seager at short, and that's that in the fourth inning. On to the bottom half with the Braves in front, 1-0. Double the difference in this one as we go to the bottom of the fourth.
And you've got to come to this game. Great Dodger Moments coin collection presented by 76 continues on Saturday, August 12th versus the Padres. The first 40,000 fans in attendance will receive the 6th coin of the collection commemorating Sandy Koufax's perfect game. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotions.
I might like that coin even more than the Oral Hershiser coin. Just saying.
I'm right with you.
Yeah. Logan Forsythe, the lead off the bottom of the fourth for the Dodgers after a nice defensive play in the top of this inning. It started off in the second half as some bad luck. Kind of evolved into a slow start in the second half, so it was good to see him double off the wall his first time up. Sean Newcomb comes home, and Forsythe takes ball one. Well, this winter, Logan and his wife Allie were in Tennessee, where he's from, outside of Memphis. Really exciting day for him. They finished the paperwork on a big farm, 64-acre farm they closed on. He loves the peace and quiet, and this is going to be how they're going to live their life. He's going to play his seasons in Tampa Bay. They'll come home and they'll live on the farm in the off seasons. Big to build a house on it. They're on their way away from finishing this deal off, and his phone rings. It's the front office in Tampa Bay telling him he's been traded. 3-0. And so you get your whole life laid out for you. You've got this picture in your mind, and the phone rings, and it all changes.
Welcome to most baseball lives.
On 3-0. Strike one. That, of course, doesn't change the fact that he has the farm. They did close on it and plans to spend the off seasons there. They've been talking about doing that for a while. But it certainly changed the other part of the calendar. 3-2.
When you have school-age kids, all of a sudden, if you're getting locked into your local area and the house and the kids get into school and now you get traded, all of a sudden you have the separation between dad and kids during the baseball season, and that baseball life is just trying to find time to be with them or to have them come make road trips, especially in the summer.
A leadoff walk. That's something that he's done better than at any point of his career. The batting average still not where Logan or anybody wants it, but the on-base percentage has stayed above league average because his walk rate, Oral, is double what it's been at any point before this year.
And he's swinging the bat really well right now. The average doesn't show it, but you know by where Dave Roberts puts him in the order in an RBI slot in the 5th hole that they like the way he's swinging the bat. When it's just the on-base percentage, you see him more at the top or at the bottom of the order.
2 hits, 4 walks for the Dodgers, trying to take advantage now. Here's Kike Hernandez, who has one of those 4 walks. Ball 1.
Made the comment last night when Kike was facing a right-hander that hitters will tell you when they are really locked in, it doesn't matter what handedness the pitcher is throwing with. And Kike got a nice line drive base hit off of a righty last night. But he is extra specially locked in against lefties.
2-0. Sean Newcomb, live stuff. Dodgers have seen that, but they've also seen what has plagued him. That is a lack of command. He's walked 4. So far, though, no damage done against a guy whose ERA this month is north of 11. Hernandez pumps it foul, and it's 2-1. Sean Newcomb went undrafted out of high school in Massachusetts and then went to baseball powerhouse Hartford. I am joking about that, but you know Jeff Bagwell went to Hartford. Year before Newcomb arrived there, Hartford went 6-43. That's low, and it's 3-1. So that shows you what kind of prospect he was. He wasn't at all. Goes to a program that was really bad and fought his way into the rotation. Took off when he was a sophomore and then was really good in the Cape Cod League for 2 summers. And you hear so many guys that jump onto everybody's radar doing that. And that was the case with Newcomb. Caught the corner, full count.
He must have had a growth spurt.
He did.
Because he's 6'5", 255 now, and throwing 95 miles an hour as a left-hander. Even if you can't hit the broad side of the barn, you are going to be a prospect if you're that size and throw that hard.
Yep, added an inch or 2, and some velocity to that fastball came with it. 3 years after going undrafted, he was the 15th overall pick. That is just off of the outside by an eyelash. Back-to-back walks to lead off the inning, and the Dodgers in business here in the 4th.
Well, the bad July from Newcomb has been a part of the equation, has been walks. Almost a walk an inning in July, and he is on that pace here with the Dodgers. So these free passes are killing him. His stuff and his size and delivery, he should be using more the halves of the plate than trying to hit the corners. And I'm sure that'll be a little bit of the message from Hernandez.
Talked about Logan Forsythe's story of when he was traded. When Sean Newcomb was traded from the Braves, or from the Angels to the Braves, he was on vacation in Mexico and happened to be away from any kind of cell phone reception, away from any Wi-Fi. Got back to the hotel, back into his room, logged onto the internet, and his phone just started blowing up. Text messages, tweets, emails, voicemails. That's when he found out he had been traded from Anaheim to Atlanta as the key piece for Andrelton Simmons. With 2 on and nobody out, it's Austin Barnes.
I hope he had a good cell plan. That could have cost him a lot of money.
He was on the Wi-Fi.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, the international, the roaming charges with all those messages coming in, no thanks. Good opportunity in the 4th. Barnes takes a strike. The ball certainly jumps out of his hand.
He gets it on line and stays behind it. Those balls that leak to the arm side away to these righties, he has a tendency to kind of drive away from his arm, and the arm extends a little too early and ball ends up away.
Breaking ball, and he's ahead of Barnes 0-2. Got Barnes with a fastball at 95. Boston's first time up there. In this case, he'll at the very least try to move the runners up with nobody out in a one-run game. Going back up with a fastball, and Barnes yanking it towards the corner. It is gone! Austin Barnes puts the Dodgers in front, sneaking one inside the foul pole.
Couple of walks, and Austin Barnes makes him really hurt. Average creeping up now close to 300. That's his 6th of the year and his 23rd RBI as he wraps it around the foul pole.
Thing got out of here in a hurry.
Like an Emirates airplane.
Oh, geez. Well done.
Wrapped it right around the Emirates foul pole.
Jock Peterson, ball one. How fast this thing goes. Contact. Ball. Hope they're paying attention down there.
No taxiing. That was straight liftoff.
You're going to ride this thing as far as you can, huh?
Oh.
The airplane thing.
As an ex-player, I'm not a professional announcer with this deep, large vocabulary. I just got to follow you.
Right.
I know you're not going to follow me on that.
No, I didn't hop on that plane. 3-0. Peterson walked his first time, knocking on the door of another as Newcomb's pitch count begins to climb. Three and one. Austin Barnes, what a year. Handful of games each of the last 2 years in the majors with the Dodgers, but on the opening day roster this year. And Dave Roberts has admitted has become a much bigger part than he anticipated.
He has really shown that he has slowed the game down behind the plate and in the batter's box.
Peterson strikes out, one away. And he said that you know, early on, and when you're only getting a couple dozen games a year in the majors, of course you're going to do this, but he tried to make every game the best game ever, as opposed to just playing it on an everyday basis. How you do coming up.
Your reps come slowly, and if your hits come slowly, the pressure can really build.
Ball one on Ross Stripling.
And that's where the veterans on the team, you know, talk about. Chris Taylor mentioned in the post-game interview with Kelly last night about coming off the bench and how do you immediately get into a rhythm and have a good at bat. And he said, you know, used to be hard, but the veterans got me and said, take your time, just go up there and try and have a quality at bat. Don't worry about results. Take a good approach and don't worry about the results. And I think Austin Barnes has picked up on that also.
Newcomb home with a 2-0, and that's a strike on Stripling.
Easy to say, hard to do.
Sure. Two and two. Suddenly Ross Stripling finds himself in line to potentially be the winner in this game if he can keep things rolling on for Clayton Kershaw after Kershaw left following 2 innings with an injury. Stripling flies it to right. Markakis is there for the second out. And Kelly Tennant working on an update for us. As we look at the Land Rover Performance Spotlight with Chris Taylor coming to the plate. His first few seasons in the majors, most of that with Seattle, was a .234 hitter. And as you know, he made the big swing change in the offseason, and he's gone from being barely able to stick on over those first few years to one of the best hitters in the National League. That feels a little bit ridiculous to say, but it's hard to argue with it because that's not a small sample size. That is a full season body of work where he's hitting above 300 with 12 home runs.
A 25 home run season is about a home run every 22 at bats or so. He's on a pace right now. He's hitting a home run every 23 at bats. So you look at that frame and that swing, and you really can classify him as a power hitter.
1-2.
So many theories on how to hit. So many mechanical adjustments you can make. Weight shift, leg kick, open stance, closed stance.
Strikes out here.
Yep.
And the inning is over, but the Dodgers back in front. He's got himself a souvenir as Austin Barnes hits a 3-run home run, wrapping it around the foul pole to flip the script at the midway point.
It's just married. That is way too cute. All right, guys, I finally have an update for you on Clayton Kershaw. Dodgers PR telling me he left the game with lower back right tightness. So we'll see how that ends up after the game when we talk to Dave Roberts. Another update for you, also pitching-wise. Brandon McCarthy had some blister issues pop up again on Thursday in his start. He threw a 42-pitch bullpen earlier today. Dave Roberts saying they still need to see how the blister heats up and reacts tomorrow. He is slated to start on Tuesday against the Twins, but Kenta Maeda waiting in the wings if they need him.
All right, Kelly, appreciate the update. So lower back tightness for Kershaw, taking him out of the game after 2 innings, and of course it was a back issue that had him shelved for a couple months last year. And then in 2 on Newcomb. One of the defining things of the Dodgers 2016 season is what they did once Kershaw went down. Newcomb strikes out swinging. Stripling has the first out of the 5th. And of course you hope that Kershaw does not go down in this situation. Goes without saying. But they proved last year that they are able to win for a certain stint without Kershaw. He went from down 8 games the day that he went out with the injury last year to first place, and then when he came back, it was almost like getting an acquisition midseason. Rode him to another division title. And you hope that they're not tested that way again this year. Top of the order, Ender Inciarte, strike one.
Clayton will do everything he can to make his next start, and if that's out of the question, he'll do everything he can to get back as soon as possible.
Oh, and 2. Only Dodgers starter that hasn't made a trip to the disabled list this year. Keeping the rotation fresh. 10-day DL has allowed them to do that with the depth that they have. Inciarte rolls it to second. Logan Forsythe throws him out. 2 up and 2 down in the 5th.
There were conversations about going with a 6-man, but then all of a sudden McCarthy comes up with a little blister issue, and now Clayton goes down and leaves this game. So they have some depth in the rotation, but have some people that are coming up with some nicks right now that might challenge that depth.
They always say it tends to work itself out.
And Clayton's the last piece that you want to have
no doubt about
work
that.
out. You're having a tremendous season, another historic season. You'd hate to see it get interrupted.
Ball one on Brandon Phillips, who's knocked in the lone Braves round with a double in the 3rd. Yeah, last season was an historic rate for Clayton Kershaw before the injury. Back to the mound, and Stripling, good extension to grab it and finish off a 1-2-3 5th. Halfway home in a 3-1 game. Dodgers baseball on Sportsnet LA is brought to you by your Southern California Toyota dealers. Get the Toyota truck of your dreams at Toyota's Summer Drive Sales Event, and by the Emoji Movie in theaters July 28th. Back in Los Angeles with the Dodgers in front on an Austin Barnes home run, 3-1 to the bottom of the 5th. Joe, Orl, and Kelly on a bright blue sunshine day here in LA.
The heat feels better when you're leading.
Yeah, it did cool off right about the bottom of the 4th, didn't it?
Yep.
Seager has one of the 5 walks issued by Newcomb today. Strike one. They've hurt him in more ways than one. First of all, the pitch count is now above 80 entering the 5th inning. The other thing is he walked the first 2 in the 4th, and they were the reason that Barnes' home run was a 3-run shot. 0-2 on Seager. Got him swinging for the first out of the 5th. Next Friday on an all-new Backstage Dodgers, Justin Turner is coming to the plate here. Stops by the Pantone 294 event in Miami. Brock Stewart returns home to Illinois when the Dodgers play the White Sox next Friday after the postgame on Sportsnet LA. Turner 0 for 2 in this one, trying to extend an 18-game on-base streak. Oh, and 1.
The way Justin is hitting and as hot as he's been all year, he's going to get any pitch in any situation. Right there, they start him off with a changeup.
Dragged along third, backhanded by Freeman. His long throw gets Turner. 2 up and 2 down.
First baseman Cody Bellinger.
With the bases empty, here's Bellinger. Hit it hard twice. Ground out in his first time up, and then just barely got under one his second time. A high fly ball that Markakis caught on the edge of the warning track and right. Had one to hit, fouled it back.
He's had a few more pitches today to be able to really get a good look at. The league before the All-Star break was making a lot of good pitches on him, and he's starting to go into a slump. Since the All-Star break, though, he's put some better swings on it and gotten a few more good pitches to hit.
One and 2, sharp break on Newcomb's pitch.
That one had good finish compared to the one where he flew out to Markakis in his last at bat. That one was kind of a hanger right down the middle.
Throws it again. Bellinger grounds it foul.
So we're talking about, we saw the fastball in this at bat. This is the last at bat, the breaking ball. You look at the pitch castle location. The break was kind of lazy and it was up, and Cody drops his head saying, "Ooh, I just missed one there."
Fraction of an inch. Different spot on that ball. That thing is long gone. Newcomb looking for a 1-2-3 inning. That buzzes the tower, and it's 2-2.
Those are scary ones because as a left-handed hitter, you are grinding to stay in there on the breaking ball with a guy as a sweeper like this. And then Cody, the late reaction to get the head out of the way.
Down to a knee to foul it off.
I think he got his front foot too. This is not fun. Always misses the shin guard. You got the protection down there and still hits something that's unprotected.
Another 2-2 from Newcomb to Bellinger. Couple of rookies facing off, and the count goes full. Bellinger's debut in late April. Newcomb's debut in early June. Four-year-old pumps a payoff. Bellinger out in front, strike 3. That is 7 Ks for Sean Newcomb, who has his first 1-2-3 inning of the game. Boy, doesn't that sound good right now? Banquet timeless moment. On this date in 1962, Jackie Robinson inducted into the Hall of Fame. Of course, had his statue erected here at Dodger Stadium earlier this year. Luis Avilan replacing Ross Stripling in a 3-1 game here in the 6th.
Alternating from the left-handed starter Clayton Kershaw, Stripling, and now to Avilan. Quite a few impactful left-handed hitters on the Atlanta Braves, so Avilan should use his breaking ball a little bit more.
Against his old team. 3-4-5. Freddie Freeman leads it off and takes ball 1. Good work by Ross Stripling. Gives up a run over 3 innings. An emergency work for Clayton Kershaw, who left after 2 with lower back tightness. 2-0.
Been a busy week for Ross Stripling. 3 outings in the last 7 days. Been an integral part of that Dodger bullpen. Avilan's been out there quite often lately too.
It's a ground ball foul, and it's 2-1. These two guys were teammates when Avilan debuted in Atlanta a few years back. One of the top left-handed relievers in baseball his first 2 years. Came over in the same deal that brought Alex Wood in the summer of 2015. Here's his 2-1, and Freeman grounds another foul. 2-2. That one squeezed by Barnes for the first out of the inning. Well, Freeman retired in a 3-1 game, and up comes Matt Kemp. We were talking about Jackie Robinson, this being the anniversary of his induction into the Hall of Fame. Broke in 1947, and his first game was against the Braves when they were in Boston. April 15th, 1947. It was a Tuesday afternoon, cool, breezy day, and first faced off with Johnny Sane. Grounded out to third in his very first plate appearance, but eventually scored the winning run in that game. Matt Kemp in the 6th inning looks at ball 1. Jackie actually scored a run in each of his first 7 games in the majors. It's a Dodger record. Kemp drags it foul, and it's 1-1. There are a lot of noteworthy moments between these two franchises. Hank Aaron's home run. First met in 1890. It was the Boston Bean Eaters was the name of the team against the Brooklyn Bridegrooms at that point. Two and one. And become the Braves until 1913. Started in Boston, moved to Milwaukee in 1953, and spent 13 years there before they relocated to Atlanta in 1966. The success that the Braves had, though, moving from Boston to Milwaukee, that was a big part of what inspired Walter O'Malley to have the confidence to move the Dodgers from Brooklyn to LA. Now, the Braves had 280,000 people total attendance in their final year in Boston. They set a National League record the next year in Milwaukee. Kemp reaches out, flips one up the middle that Forsythe squeezes for out number 2. So they went from 280,000 in the final year in Boston to 1.8 million in their first year in Milwaukee. And so just enough to put Walter O'Malley over the edge to say, okay, maybe we can do this. Maybe we can relocate. With 2 outs and the bases empty, here's Markakis. One and 0. Braves had that run where they won 14 division titles in 15 years. 1991 through the mid part of the first decade of this century. And it was actually at the Dodgers' expense that they started that run in the 1991 season. That's a strike, 1-1. Dodgers had a 1-game lead on the Braves with 4 left. They lost 3 of their final 4 and finished 1 game back. It started a run of 14 division titles in 15 years for Atlanta. Two and one. Couple of division series matchups more recently. 1996, Braves swept the Dodgers and are out to win in the pennant, losing to the Yankees that year. And then in 2013, which is Atlanta's most recent postseason trip, the Dodgers 1-4 in the division series. 3-1. Braves actually haven't won a postseason series since 2001.
Now trying to build a champion for the new ballpark.
Bouncing ball. Logan Forsythe ranges over. This inning belongs to Forsythe. 2 sparkling defensive plays, ranging to his right to help Avilan and the Dodgers sit the Braves down in order.
Wednesday, July 26th, when the Dodgers play host to the Twins at 7:10. The first 40,000 fans in attendance will receive a Clayton Kershaw bobblehead courtesy of Pirelli Tire. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotions.
It was Kershaw on the mound to start this one, and he looked like himself in a 1-2-3 first inning that lasted only 8 pitches. Came back out for the second, got a couple of ground ball outs to begin it. But then while he was facing Tyler Flowers, Dave Roberts and Nate Lucero, the trainer, came out to take a look at him. Finished off the inning by kinging Matt Adams, but that was the last we saw of him.
A little bit of a flinch there on that last pitch, and just as he walks gingerly down into the clubhouse, we haven't seen him since. And everybody is thinking and praying for Clayton and his, what Kelly reported is his lower back.
Dodgers in front 3-1 and an Austin Barnes home run. Sean Newcomb to Logan Forsythe to open the 6th with a breaking ball, strike 1. Nomar talks about defensive momentum. Forsythe, a couple great defensive plays in the top of this inning. See if he can carry it on to this at bat to start the 6th. Other than 2. On 3 pitches, he strikes out. Flowers runs it down and gets him. So 8 Ks today for Sean Newcomb, and 1 retired in the 6th.
Right fielder, Kike Hernandez.
I can see the stuff that made the Braves want Newcomb in a Andrelton Simmons deal.
Big, strong young fella that throws hard from the left side and really knows how to spin the baseball. Just has a tendency to block himself off a little bit so that he can't get the ball down and can't throw as many strikes, but I think he will refine his mechanics where he could really start to pinpoint the ball very, very well.
Good strike 1 on Hernandez, who he's walked both times today. That is the problem. He's got those 8 Ks, but he's walked 5. 99th pitch of the day is banged in the air foul, and it's 0-2. Dug out to center. Inciarte jogs back. He's got it. 2 out. Brings up Austin Barnes, and we look at our top tier play of the game, brought to you by Arco. And at this point, it's a pretty easy choice.
This line drive right down the line. Great top hand swing from Austin Barnes there. Got the hips cleared so he could keep the hands through and not pull that ball foul.
For his 6th home run of the season. Didn't have one over his first 2 seasons with big league time. A fastball, strike 1. What a ride for a kid from Riverside. Grew up coming to games here. He's a big Dodger fan. Pokes it foul, 0-2.
What is it about catchers and big hands? I mean, Austin Barnes is not a big guy, but he's got huge, strong hands. Bob Guerin, his hands will swallow your hand up.
Look at him. You can tell right there.
Look at those mitts. His hands are so big he doesn't need a catcher's glove when he warms up, guys.
He's going to make that same joke.
Yeah, I don't like shaking hands with him.
No, it makes you feel small.
Takes me back to when I was like 12. My dad was teaching me how to shake hands with people.
Barnes down swinging this time, and Newcomb has looked good the last 2 innings after allowing the homer to Barnes. We're through a 6. Nissan today for great offers on our most exciting lineup ever. Shop ChooseNissan.com. Dodgers trying to piece this one together. 2 from Kershaw, 3 from Stripling, and now Luis Avilan for a second inning of work. A 3-1 lead as we move on to the 7th.
Working very hard to get a series split. The last time they lost a series was all the way back in early June against the Nats, who took them for 2 out of 3. That was June 5th through 7th. So these Dodgers have been super hot since that date.
They've won 32 of 38. Tyler Flowers leads off the 7th for Atlanta and pokes the first pitch foul.
Atlanta trying to climb back into this game off the #1 bullpen in the National League. And that bullpen's having to do a lot of work today because of Clayton having to exit because of the back.
Clayton Kershaw has picked the Dodgers up so many times throughout his career, and they're trying to do the same for him today. You don't have to look far back to find the last time he did it. The 1-0 win in his last start in Chicago on a day where he described himself as rusty after the 9-day layoff. How about feeling rusty and throwing 7 shutout innings? That's what Kershaw did. Here's a 1-1 and ball 2 on Flowers.
Clayton's definition of a pitcher. He is not a thrower. A guy who's so big and so strong, has great stuff, but so precise with his mechanics.
Avilan trying to be the first Dodger pitcher today to retire Flowers. He walked against Kershaw and singled against Stripling. 31 years old in his 9th year and having by far his best offensive season. On a 2-2. A pop-up. This could be tough in that bright sunshine, but Hernandez has it marked and makes it look easy. 1-out.
First baseman number 18, Matt Adams.
Now Matt Adams. It's like a different guy than he did the last couple years in St. Louis. He shed 30 pounds this offseason and came into spring training thinking that he'd start playing some outfield for St. Louis. Did a little bit, but still didn't have much of a role, and the Cardinals were happy to deal him away for just a low-level prospect. Strike 1. And give it an everyday opportunity for the first time in a few years. He's taken full advantage and kind of resurrected his career. He could either be used as a trade chip here or probably setting himself up to sign a decent deal soon. 1-1. Moved to St. Louis for the offseason. Spent it working with a trainer and doing a lot of Pilates. Completely new workout plan. Changed his diet. The diet's such a big part of it. You can do whatever you want working out. It's only going to get you so far without having a good diet. And Adams figured that out this offseason. Ow.
First baseman today are getting their front foots hit. Cody Bellinger following off his front foot. Easy to stay back when you get your front foot with some pain on it. Now Matt Adams gets a chance at it. And believe me, the pain does not go away when they climb back into the box. They are hitting with a sore foot.
And you're preying on it if you're a pitcher.
Yeah, I kind of like to.
The Bulldog was ruthless.
Well, this
still is.
Perfect for Avilan, though, with a changeup inside. And if he gets it down, gets him to swing early, and now he tops the ball right back into the foot. For a right-hander, if I was throwing to him, I'd be throwing a slow curveball down and in. If he's out in front, he's going to top it, hit it off the front of his foot again.
Got him swinging. 2 up, 2 down here in the 7th. Avilan has retired all 5 that he's faced.
Love the pitch selection. Love that he's using it in a key situation. The curveball is his 3rd best pitch, but he needs to improve it, and he can't do it without using it.
His day comes to an end with the switch hitting Johan Camargo due next. 5 up and 5 down for Avilan. Enter Josh Fields.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention, please. Now pitching for the Dodgers, number 46, Josh Fields.
Mobile looking around the rest of the division. Rockies all over the red-hot Pirates 12-2. Padres and Giants just hoping to avoid extra innings like the 2 bottom teams in the National League have played each of the first 2 nights of this series. Diamondbacks trailing the Nationals 5-2. With 2 outs and the bases empty, here's Josh Fields.
Through against these Braves, a couple innings on Friday, 23 pitches to get through a couple clean innings, a couple strikeouts on Friday, so feeling good about where he's at throwing the ball.
They choose to flip Camargo around to the left side. He has punished left-handed pitching. So Dave Roberts makes that move from the lefty to the righty, who misses high with ball 1. Dodger pitching has retired 9 in a row since a Tyler Flowers single back in the 4th. They can find this in the sun, it'll be 10 straight. Seager's got it, and the inning is over. We stretch at Dodger Stadium with the Dodgers in front 3-1.
7:10 when the Dodgers kick off a series with the Twins. It'll be a 3-game series, but tomorrow be one of the first 40,000 fans to take home a replica Justin Turner jersey, compliments of United Healthcare. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotions.
Jose Ramirez, the one that wasn't an all-star this year. We've got Jose Ramirez, who is an infielder for the Indians, having a breakout season. This one having a pretty good year out of the Atlanta bullpen. Bottom of the Dodger order, Jock Peterson is 0 for 1 today with a walk and a strikeout, and he takes ball 1. Deadline rapidly approaching. July 31st, and I figure there's going to be, per usual, movement all over the place. Always a fun time of year. It signals the fact that the late part of the season is arriving. It's a strike, it's 1-1. Bill Shaken, in an article for LA Times this morning, had a really fascinating stat. Last 3 years, 36 total games started in the World Series when you're looking at individual starts from pitchers. Out of those 36 starts, the starter lasted more than 6 innings 4 times. 32 of the 36 times, the bullpen had at least the last 3 innings.
It's a lot of matching up, and that's a lot of not trusting guys in the third time around in the order.
And I bring it up because it's a question for a lot of teams, how you want to build for October. When you're approaching not just building a roster at the deadline, but when you're building a roster in the offseason as well. Kind of the new way to look at it is backwards, as opposed to trying to get innings to begin the game with deep starts. That one takes off 2-2. Saw Kansas City do it well for a couple of seasons. You saw the Indians do it with Andrew Miller last year. But that is build from the back forward. You have a few good starters, but you're not necessarily looking for 7 innings every night. And so for a team like the Dodgers, as you approach the deadline, if you're looking for pitching, are you looking for a starter? Are you looking for a reliever? That's fouled as well. It kind of accomplishes the same thing, and that is getting outs during the postseason, just in a different part of the game.
Yeah, I think it starts with your original configuration. Do I have a strong, deep rotation? Do I have a little weakness in the bullpen, or is my rotation at the point where game 3, if I get there, I could really go through a lot of arms in my bullpen, and will they be rested enough to make it through the rest of the series? So I need a starter.
Peterson strikes out, 1 away in the 7th.
In the current situations on rosters, usually there's a lot of arms in bullpens, a lot more than 10-15 years ago, so you have more depth on every staff. It's just you have that quality matchup staff that you want to use as you build that pen. I think you need them both, but it's an interesting equation depending on your individual situation and your roster.
And Dave Roberts in the Dodger front office has said, and you understand why, that I don't feel like this roster really needs a ton. Yasiel Puig pinch hitting takes ball 1. I mean, you're on a 110 win pace. Hard to argue that. They don't need a ton.
You can always improve a team, but thinking more of a tweak here than an overhaul.
Yeah, there's definitely no overhaul coming. And Andrew Friedman has talked about the reason being not just the fact that they're on the pace they are, but the chemistry of this group is so unique. And he's very, very hesitant to do anything that could jeopardize that. 2-1.
One of the things that I would look at when you look at relievers, if you're thinking about I'm going to be short as far as innings coming from the starting staff, I would be looking at relievers' ERA or effectiveness with no days rest, with 1 day's rest, with 2 days rest, because that's the kind of workload they're going to get in the playoffs.
Little dribbler in front of the plate, and Flowers throws Puig out.
So guys where their velocity or their stuff declines with no days rest, where they go back-to-back days, or their velocity and stuff declines with only 1 day's rest after, let's say, 20 to 25 pitches, where they got a good workout in that first game. If you're going to use people that way and you're going to build your bullpen and expect them to be effective day in and day out, you want to look at that they can recover from their outings and then be really good in the future outings. Some arms can do that, some arms can't. Some arms need at least a day or two rest after pitching an inning or an inning plus.
Chris Taylor with the bases empty and 2 gone takes ball 1, but apparently he went around. Strike 1.
You know, sometimes in those bullpen arms you won't see a decline in velocity, but the first thing you'll see is a decline in location. And that's usually the first thing that goes with all pitchers when they get tired. It's not the velocity coming down, it's the location, because you can always put a little bit more effort into it when you start to get tired, but then all of a sudden the spray pattern gets wider.
Jose Ramirez looking for a 1-2-3 7th. Taylor takes ball 1. Two and 2. It's really, when you're looking at pitching staffs for October, simplest way to look at it is 27 outs a game. You've got to find a way to account for that. And you're looking for 11 games where you can account for that to win a world championship. Taylor down swinging, and Ramirez does have a 1-2-3 7th. On to the 8th with the Dodgers in front 3-1. Bartolo Colon, the 44-year-old who was on the Braves to begin this season, faces off with Hyun Jin Ryu, returning from the disabled list, pitching for the first time since late June. Colon, 44 years old, had 1 start since the Twins got him. Gave up 4 runs against the Yankees, was taken out in the 5th inning, and they said that he's considering retirement. But one of the things keeping him from hanging it up at this point, promised his mom that he would pitch until he turned 45. His mom passed away a few years ago. Doesn't turn 45 until next May, and takes that promise very seriously.
A tremendous career, and the longevity is really unheard of. And to think, I was at spring training with the Cleveland Indians, and Bartolo was a young pup and was not allowed to pick up a baseball because he was so out of shape when he arrived at spring training that they forced him to ride a bike around camp every day over and over and over again to lose weight, to get in shape, and now he's pitching till almost 45 years old.
20th major league year for Colon with his 10th different team now. Danny Santana leads off the 8th against Pedro Baez, who tries to keep the line moving as far as the Dodger bullpen goes. 2 innings today from Clayton Kershaw. Left with the lower back tightness. Ross Stripling went 3. Luis Avilan went 1 2/3. Here's the 0-1. The dirt, 1 ball and 1 strike. And now Kenley Jansen getting loose in the Dodger bullpen, because after this it'll be the top of the order for the Braves.
Extra runs yesterday prevented Kenley from coming in and getting the save after he got up. We can stretch him out today because he is well rested.
Two and 1.
Well, Bartolo Colon, his career is a testament to how hard it is to hit a major league fastball even when you know it's coming, because he has relied on his fastball, where major league hitters have known forever that he's going to throw it about 80% of the time. And he's done that by just locating and locating and locating, and extended his career to almost forever.
Santana digs it out on the ground to Bellinger at first. He was saying yesterday that one of the most kind of liberating things for you when you were coming up was having somebody tell you you're only allowed to throw a fastball this inning, and being able to work through that inning with no damage done.
Yep. When spring training and training, Ron Peronowski, the pitching coach, Dave Wallace was the pitching coach down there at times, would train us to say, you're going out this inning and you can't throw any breaking balls, and you go out there and all you have is your fastball. And sometimes they'd say, I only want fastballs away. If you get 2 strikes on somebody with no balls, or 1 and 2, you can throw 1 fastball in, but other than that, I want just fastballs away. And you learn you can survive and actually thrive with just 1 pitch. And then you feel bulletproof when all of a sudden they say, oh, you can throw your curveball. Yeah, you can throw your curveball this inning, but you can only throw it 3 times, so use it wisely. And it's just, it teaches you how to pitch, and it teaches you that 1 pitch can really become multiple pitches when you rely on the location, not the velocity, or the movement and not the velocity.
Inciarte hits it foul, and he's in an 0-2 hole. Bartolo Colon's been playing that drill for 20 years.
He has. He has really not really. He has a little slider. He's had a curveball at times and a changeup, but boy, he just learned how to throw and locate his fastball, and has used it throughout his whole career.
Debuted in 1997. Probably a similar thing here as far as Kenley Jansen goes as yesterday. If Atlanta gets one on, then you seriously start thinking about using him, especially when you consider the guys that will be coming up. After Inciarte, it's Phillips, then Freeman and Kemp. Those are some names that could call for Kenley Jansen. An 0-2 to Inciarte. Ball 1.
Pedro Baez's growth as a pitcher, and he has really crossed over the bridge to a consistent big leaguer this year, is because of the development of his secondary stuff, not his fastball.
Inciarte hits a fly ball to left center field. Jock Peterson runs it down. 2 up, 2 down in the 8th.
High changeup right there, but because they're expecting the fastball at 88 and up and away, takes the sting out of the bat and gets himself a pop-up.
Brandon Phillips knocked in the lone Braves run of the game. Yeah, and we'll come up here, but it looks like Dave Roberts is going to go to Kenley Jansen even with nobody on. And 2 out in the 8th inning. Cue California love as Kenley Jansen comes into the game. Dodgers baseball on Sportsnet LA is brought to you by BMW. See a Southern California BMW Center today for exceptional offers or visit SoCalBMW.com. A 3-run home run from Austin Barnes in the 4th inning. The difference right now as Kenley Jansen comes on in a save situation, trying to go to 25 of 25 on the year.
Hasn't been out there for 4 days, warmed up yesterday, lost the save situation. In some ways, Dave Roberts is protecting the big fella's ego and stats, getting him a chance at a save, even if the Dodgers come up in the bottom of the 8th and score a lot of runs.
Brandon Phillips with 2 outs, swings at the first pitch and hits it foul. Yeah, because it is what it is when you enter the game, not what it is when you go into the 9th. Because it's a 2-run game when Kenley comes in here, regardless of what happens in the bottom of the 8th, this is a save situation. Here's an 0-1 to Brandon Phillips. Strike 2.
And this is something that Kenley has been doing throughout the year also. He has 9 saves or 4 or 5 outs this year. 4 with 4-out saves. He's got 8, and he's got 1 with a 5-out save, and he even has a 6-out win.
On the ground is second. That was quick, wasn't it? 3 pitches to get Phillips. To the bottom of the 8th we go.
Be sure to stay tuned for Access Sportsnet Dodgers postgame presented by your Southern California Nissan dealers, Alana, Jerry, and Ned in studio. And guys, it sounds like Clayton Kershaw will be available to speak to the media after the game, so hopefully we can get some answers as to how he is feeling.
You know, everybody's waiting on pins and needles to hear. Dodgers trying to pick him up today. Austin Barnes, a 3-run home run to get in front 3-1, and then the bullpen has been magnificent following Kershaw. Gave up the 1 run. Ross Stripling allowed it in the 3rd, and nothing since. Here's Rex Brothers to pitch the bottom of the 8th.
Atlanta looking to post a 0 to give him a shot in the 9th. Dodgers looking to add on.
Second outing of this series for Brothers. Corey Seager attacks the first pitch. That's strike 1. Brothers, 29 years old, opened his career with the Rockies. 5 really good years there. But then went over to the Cubs, was there in spring training in 2016, but was caught right towards the end of spring training. Seager turns this one around into center for Inciarte, and the first out of the 8th. So he gets cut by the Cubs in spring training of 2016. And you know how that story ends for the Cubs. They win a world championship.
Third baseman, number 10.
You don't get rings for being in camp. The Rex brothers spent last year out of baseball completely, rehabbing his shoulder, which had given him issues over the last year or so, and been a pretty good pickup for Atlanta.
Sounds like he was trying to get it strong enough to make that Cubs team, found out it wasn't strong enough, and then said, okay, I need to get a lot stronger, then come back at it.
So he signed a minor league deal with Atlanta, started in AAA, and was called up not too long ago. His first pitch to Justin Turner is hit foul. Last opportunity for Turner to extend the 18-game on-base streak.
More and more guys we see not give up on their careers, I think, because the pot of gold at the big league level is so big now. Even if you can play for 2 or 3 years up here, how can you take a $40,000 a year job, losing your baseball career? That's where I'm going to head to, compared to should I rehab or really bust my butt and find my way back to the big leagues and make a $500,000, maybe 2-3 years.
Even guys going overseas and playing in Korea and Japan, there are some big salaries there.
Yeah, when the salaries were close, as far as, let's say, when minimum was in 100 or 200,000, not as big of an equation, but now where it is at.
2 out.
I mean, just to be the 25th guy on the roster, you can make a king's ransom for a few years if you can just hang on for 3-4 years.
Bellinger.
It's life-changing money, even for the borderline big leaguer.
With 2 outs and the bases clear, here's Cody Bellinger, who was 0 for 3 today. Looking ahead to the 9th inning, Jansen will get Freeman, Kemp, and Markakis. Chatting over some of the plan with Rick Honeycutt and Austin Barnes. One and 0. Always like to see a guy with a good baseball name get another chance. Rex Brothers. Rex Coleman Brothers, his full name. 2-0.
Interesting question out to your Twitter followers. Your favorite baseball name. I'm thinking of like Milton Bradley.
Oh, that's, yeah.
I like that one.
A 2-0. 3 balls, no strikes. How about Rougned Odor in Texas right now?
Yeah, I like that.
Down in the Dodgers AAA level right now, Okoye Dixon.
That's a good one. And he's a good player.
Guy can hit.
Yep.
Green light if he wants it. He takes it. High drive right field. Back goes Markakis. That's gone. Cody Bellinger launches number 27, giving the Dodgers some insurance.
Take a look at the Volkswagen replay on the Cody Bellinger swing for his 27th home run. Puts him only 3 behind Giancarlo Stanton. He's had some pitches to hit today and missed them, but he didn't miss this one. An absolute rainbow shot on a sunny day here in LA.
More homers than anybody in baseball since he debuted. Logan Forsythe now looks at a strike. So again, the Dodgers riding the long ball. 3 home runs yesterday, all solo shots. today. A 3-run homer from Barnes and a solo homer from Bellinger, accounting for the scoring. 1-2. A great Sunday crowd braving these warm temperatures. 44,701. A check swing tapper. It's a frustrating one for a hitter. Inning comes to a close, but Cody Bellinger launches a home run. The lead grows to 3 as we move to the 9th. We'll try and keep a run of 14 up and 14 down for this bullpen going.
It's been a fantastic year for this bullpen, and because of their success, less pressure on the Dodgers to make a move here at the deadline to finish off this team. There is no need in the bullpen. Maybe just a left-hander, but definitely not at the end of the game with the big fella on the mound.
A home run from Bellinger. Nice and helpful for the no heart rate right here with this part of the order coming up, and Freddie Freeman dropping one into left to open the inning. Thanks to the Bellinger home run, there's still work to do. Otherwise, Atlanta immediately would bring the tying run to the plate here.
Left fielder number 27, Matt Kemp.
Freddie Freeman just got eaten alive by that cutter in on his hands. Just happened to find some outfield grass. Don't change the strategy, Kenley. Just keep going.
First base runner for the Braves since the 4th inning. And Tyler Flowers had a single. So Matt Kemp, who's had a good series. If Kemp can reach, that's when things begin to get interesting. If Markakis on deck representing the tying run if Kemp can get on. One and oh. Twins come in tomorrow. Been a good road team this year. Got beat against Detroit today in the final game of their homestand and used 6 relievers in the game. So Minnesota taxing that bullpen one day before Bartolo Colon goes, and he's not been good at getting deep into games this year. 1-1.
How far can you expect a 44-year-old to go?
That's true. Jansen ready for a 1-1 to his old teammate, Matt Kemp. A base hit to left. Back-to-back singles, and with nobody out in the 9th, the Braves have the tying run at the plate.
Right fielder number 22, Nick Markakis.
Matt Kemp has really been swinging a hot bat, and it has not been lucky. His mechanics looks outstanding. The work that he's put in with Kevin Seitzer, their hitting coach, is really paying off.
Markakis 5 home runs this year. Not quite the power bat that he once was, but still can thump it and has the ability to tie this game with one swing. So does the man on deck in Tyler Flowers. So does Matt Adams after him. This is not going to be easy for Jansen. Ball 1. Two 2-0 on Markakis.
Kenley hasn't been out there very often lately. He's had 4 days rest, warmed up a few times over that rest period, but has not been under fire. So this is a little bit of a shock to your system when you haven't been out there for a while, and all of a sudden first and second, no out.
Scary pitch, 2-0 on the corner, strike 1. Dodgers trying to get their 33rd win in their last 39 games. After losing the first 2, trying to win the last 2 to salvage the split. A 2-1 pitch. And a pop fly to left. Taylor's got it. 1 out.
That might settle Kenley in. He's fallen behind a few hitters, given up a weak hit, a line drive, but now that pop-up helps.
This is a scary guy here at this juncture. He's got big time power. He's homered in this series. He represents the tying run with 1 out in the 9th inning. Jansen to Flowers with the first one. He rips it to left. Taylor's back, reaches and catches. 2 gone.
Routine for that left fielder. He's only been out there about a month and a half. I don't know how many reps he's gotten, but he sure had a little jab step forward, but then went to his right and back, using that great speed to make up for a little bit of a jab in the route.
The Dodgers 1 out away from splitting this series after losing the first 2. Matt Adams, who's broken Dodger hearts before, the last hope for Atlanta. Strike 1. Ball 1. Then Jansen looking for a 4-out save. After back-to-back singles to start the inning, back-to-back outs to left. And now a high fly ball down the right field line. Hernandez over. That ball is gone, and this game is tied. Matt Adams rips a 3-run home run with the Braves down to their final out. And Kenley Jansen has blown his first save of 2017.
Shortstop number 17, Johan, come on.
Cut fastball that he wants up, and I think he gets it down, yes, into the sweet spot. Doesn't cut that much, and Kenley has been so perfect this year. He feels terrible, but if you're going to go out there as often as he does, every once in a while, it's not going to work out.
So Adams does it to the Dodgers again in a new uniform. Johan Camargo with the bases empty and 2 out. It's a line drive to center. Peterson is there, and if the Dodgers are going to win this one, it'll be in walk-off fashion. Hernandez, Barnes, and Peterson due up in the bottom of the 9th in a 4-4 game. It's a game-tying 3-run home run and keeps this thing moving. Kenley Jansen's first blown save of the year. The Dodgers will try to bail him out against Arodys Vizcaíno here in the bottom of the 9th.
Jim Johnson might be their closer, but the biggest and best arm might be this guy right here. Close to an average fastball at 98 miles an hour. 16 holds in his back pocket, and that's what Braves are asking him to do right here. Don't allow the Dodgers to celebrate on the field here in the 9th.
Boy, and how big does Bellinger's home run look now? Instead of fighting to keep the game alive, the Dodgers trying to win it, otherwise will play on. 6 walk-off wins this year, looking for a 7th and a series split. Couple of walks and a fly out to center today for Hernandez, but against the left-handed starter Sean Newcomb. And with a short bench, he stays in, takes ball 1. Short bench because Dave Roberts had to go to a pinch hitter very early in the game with Clayton Kershaw leaving. Available still, Yasmani Grandal and Chase Utley. Here comes the 1-0. Hernandez pops it up. Adams. Brandon Morrow getting ready for the 10th. Well, before Adams' 3-run home run, Barnes' 3-run home run was the biggest swing of the day. That was back in the 4th inning. It was barely inside the foul pole and left.
Yeah, the player of the game was going to be Austin Barnes or the Dodger bullpen until that swing by Adams.
Barnes up the middle, base hit into center. Winning run aboard with one out in the ninth.
Well, another piece of evidence that he still wants to be player of the game.
Number 31, John Peterson.
3-run homer, and now the base hit here. The winning run on first base.
So Jock Peterson, wouldn't be a bad spot for a home run, would it? To state the obvious. For the Dodgers, those 6 walk-off wins this year, but without a walk-off home run. Ball 1. Vizcaíno's 1-0. In the dirt, off with a glove of Flowers. Winning run into scoring position. And Barnes, as soon as he saw that thing get away, was not settling with just taking one base.
Seeing Chris Taylor take a base when a ball's in the dirt on an angle. Austin Barnes, a good secondary lead, was off as soon as that one got away. And as far as it got away, was able to even make that turn out there at second. Gave the fans a thrill here.
Let's go Dodgers! Let's go Dodgers!
Can they win it in the bottom of the ninth after watching a win disappear in the top of the ninth?
Sometimes relievers will get locked in on the hitter right here on the very first pitch. Austin Barnes, good wheels. I don't know if he'd have the green light, but boy, if he could get a huge jump. Some relievers will just forget about you for a pitch because of the shock of him being there.
Vizcaíno shot him a couple of glances. Here he comes with a 2-0. Peterson dribbles it back to the mound. Vizcaíno lobs a throw for the second out. And it's going to be up to Yasmani Grandal, pinch hitting with a winning run 90 feet away.
Pitch hitter, number 9, Yasmani Grandal.
Twice in his career he's ended things, but it's been 2 years since his last walk-off hit.
Even Freeman at home for the bunt base hit, which Yasmani works on an awful lot with Bob Guerin. But the shift on the rest of the infield.
Here comes the first one. Breaking ball down the middle for a strike.
The back of your mind, you've got to think about the wild pitch that got Barnes the second. Now that he's on third, that would end the game.
Oh, 2. And a good stop by Flowers. Well, the wild pitch by Vizcaíno earlier in this inning was his 6th this year. And only 35 innings of work, so it happens quite often. Back-to-back breaking balls to put him in an 0-2 hole. Fastball low and in, and again Flowers having to put the glove down to protect.
Guy's throwing 99, and you're thinking in that count he might go upstairs, but he pulled it low and in. Flowers looked like he was coming out of his crouch. Had to reach back and backhand that.
Winning run at third, 2 outs, 9th inning, 1-2. Grandal pops it up. At third, it's Freeman. And he makes the catch, stumbling down. We play on. 3-run homer from Matt Adams in the top of the 9th. And then Freddie Freeman battling the sunshine. Sends us to extras. Innings. How did we get here? A lot has happened in this one. Clayton Kershaw is the starter for the Dodgers, but was pulled with lower back tightness after 2 innings. Bullpen did a pretty good job for most of the day. Well, the Dodgers took the lead on a Barnes home run. That was in the 4th, made it 3-1 Dodgers. Bellinger added on with a solo shot in the 8th. But with the Braves down to their last out against Kenley Jansen, Matt Adams even the issue with a 3-run shot. So now the Dodgers turn to Brandon Morrow in a full 4 game in the 10th inning.
The Dodger pen now is getting a little thin. Avilan's been used. Morrow now in there. Josh Fields has been used. Pedro Baez, Ross Stripling, Kenley Jansen. They're down to the guys down there, Brock Stewart and Grant Dayton.
Second day in a row, the Dodgers have used Morrow. Sean Rodriguez pinch hitting to start the 10th. Strike 1. Quickly 0-2. Looking ahead to the bottom of the 10th inning, Dodgers will have probably Chase Utley in the pitcher's spot to lead it off, then Taylor, then Seager.
miles an hour on no day's rest. That's a pretty good arm. 14 pitches yesterday for a 3-up, 3-down inning.
Strike 3 called. Makes quick work of Rodriguez for the first out of the 10th.
A breaking ball that doesn't go right to left, but does go down and stay on the plate.
So now to the top and enter Inciarte. Scored the Braves' first run way back in the 3rd inning to give them a 1-0 lead. Strike 1, 99 from Morrow. Hit foul, and it's quickly 0-2, and again 100.
As much as this Braves team swings the bat, I'm surprised they get upset about borderline strike calls. It's not like they're up there taking.
Dribbled to the right side. Morrow feeds Bellinger. Quickly 2 out. And now Brandon Phillips, and the Dodgers would be perfectly fine with leaving Freddie Freeman in the on-deck circle in this situation, facing him again in Atlanta a week and a half from now. Phillips 1 for 4, knocked in a run with a double back in the 3rd. Must be too hot today for Micah, his son, 3-year-old son who's been around all weekend and had a first row seat with him on Thursday night. 0-1.
Mike out here every day too, with early work with his dad, playing catch with Freddie Freeman, taking ground balls from Freddie, and also playing catch with his dad. A lot of talent for a 3-year-old.
Quickly 0-2. A couple of nice pitches from Morrow. It's funny though, you know, he does have great talent for a 3-year-old, but he also has very 3-year-old tendencies. Like he'll flash this talent, he'll hit the ball, he'll throw it, and then he'll kind of just drop it to the side and wander off and look at a butterfly or something. Here comes an 0-2. Ball 1. Pitcher's spot, Taylor Seager coming up in the bottom of the 10th. 2-2. Wow. 101 this time, bearing in on Phillips.
101 emergency swing and defense. Don't hit me in the chest, so I better foul it off.
More looking for a 1-2-3-10. After getting ahead of Phillips, 0-2, it's now full with Freddie Freeman looming on deck. Matt Adams, 9th inning home run, sending this game into extras. A payoff. And he again protects triple digits. And I had said that it'd be the pitcher's spot leading off the next inning. Grandal hit in the pitcher's spot last inning, and so it'll be the top of the order. Taylor, Seager, Turner due up. Phillips drives one foul, and he is really making Morrow work, with Morrow featuring some of his best stuff this afternoon.
What I talked about earlier, when you're scouting relievers, how do they do without any rest? Pitched yesterday and coming right back with an arm and a body that can produce the same type pitches. Even hit 101. He didn't do that yesterday.
On the ground to first, Bellinger's got it. Top of the order coming up for the Dodgers in the bottom of the 10th. It's Taylor, it's Seager, it's Turner in a moment. Coming up in a tie game. They already have 6 walk-off wins this year from 6 different sources. What a perfect snapshot of what this team has done this year.
Sure is. Adrian Gonzalez getting close to being healthy, chomping at the bit now, showing the organization that he's doing some good things. And you look at the list there with Barnes and Bellinger for sure, and Taylor and all those guys not expected to contribute, but have contributed in a big way.
Jim Johnson, who was shaky in an appearance in the first game of this series, a Dodger for a short time in 2015, on here for the 10th.
In some ways, the veteran that has done it before, but really not the best stuff in their bullpen, but looking to groom some of those younger arms, but putting the pressure on the big guy, Johnson.
So Chris Taylor, first pitch breaking ball, strike 1. Taylor hit his 12th home run of the season last night to the opposite field. Jams one down the right field line, sinking for a base hit. He will hold on at first with a leadoff single. Markakis doesn't have quite the arm that he once did, but Taylor not willing to test it.
Well, Chris Taylor doesn't hit a rocket here, but he pushes it out there to right field, and the ball in the air, hit weakly, seems to fall in for more hits than the ball on the ground, and Chris Taylor finds it.
So now Seager, and here's the matchup that we were so desperate to see on Thursday night before the great catch by Johan Camargo robbed us of seeing Seager against Johnson with a game on the line. We get it here. Corey Seager 0 for 3 this afternoon. Strike 1. It is rare that Corey Seager looks at a first pitch fastball down the middle.
Johnson's two-seamer, and if he gets it up, and Corey Seager's tendency to stay on the ball and hit it to left field, look for the ball to go to the left center gap.
And if it does, sit back and watch Chris Taylor gallop. Fouled off 0-2.
Went with a pitch that he throws rarely, which is a little slider slash cutter. And had to shake a few times to get to it. Mostly the two-seamer and the curveball come from Johnson.
Inside, ball 1. Two balls, 2 strikes. $16 home runs for Corey Seager this year. Most recently last night against Tehran. Bouncing ball to short. They get one at second, but a wide throw at first. So fielder's choice, Seager aboard with 1 out.
Baseman number 10, Justin Turner.
And here's Turner. for 4 on a day where he is in the lineup despite battling bronchitis. Dave Roberts sent him home yesterday. Played a man short. That's how under the weather Justin Turner was feeling. Less than 24 hours later, trying to be the hero. One and all.
He hits a home run here and does all the post-game interviews. We'll have a pool of reporters that will be getting sick.
2 balls, no strikes. Cody Bellinger due next. Outfield plays very deep, trying to keep the ball from getting in the gap that could score Seager from first. A 2-0. High pop fly. And that will get to the seat, strike 1.
2-0 count, hitters count. Justin making him get the ball up so he can elevate. That one was just a little too high for him.
Plenty of dramatic moments in his time as a Dodger. Most notably this year, that home run, the 3rd in the string of 3 in the 9th inning against the Phillies. With Seager at first and 1 out, a 2-1. Generous strike, 2-2.
Borderline on the height, but did it leak back? The two-seam movement leaked back and hit the corner? Pitchcast says no.
Full count. Boy, Tyler Flowers has been huge for them back there, with the exception of the one wild pitch that he couldn't grab. Really important last inning with Austin Barnes hanging out down at 3rd, and here he keeps the winning run from moving into scoring position.
Interesting decision from Dave Roberts. Do you start Corey Seager, try and stay out of the double play, but the line drive becomes a double play? Cody Bellinger, does he get an opportunity because you start him, or does he get an opportunity because you don't start him?
He runs, ripped to left center field, base hit. Seager's headed for 3rd, and the winning run is 90 feet away for Cody Bellinger.
Trust and confidence in Justin Turner, even though he's sick. Starting the runner, being aggressive is Dave Roberts, and that makes a base hit to left, able to get Seager to 3rd. If he is frozen there, it's 1st and 2nd. He's on the move. It's 1st and 3rd, and the winning run is 90 feet away.
And instead of Bellinger, it will be Forsythe. The Braves are putting Bellinger on intentionally. Sets up the force everywhere. But it's all the pressure in the world on Jim Johnson to throw strikes against one of the more patient hitters in baseball. Dodgers trying to rescue one. It got away in the 9th inning. Ball 1.
Logan Forsythe will force him to throw strikes. He is not anxious at all in this big moment.
Seager, the only runner that matters. Logan Forsythe in his first year with the Dodgers. Hits one up the middle. He's the hero on this Sunday afternoon. The 3-run lead vanishes in the 9th inning. The Dodgers waste no time, still finding a way to win it. Logan Forsythe with a game-winning single to center to score Corey Seager.
Couple of hits today, but this one in his 5th at bat, the biggest one in the 5 hole, because he's an RBI man and he picks up the biggest RBI of the game.
It is his 2nd walk-off hit of the season. The Dodgers salvage a series split. They are 68-31. For Oral Hershiser, Kelly Tennant, and the rest of our crew, Joe Davis saying so long from Dodger Stadium. Access Sports Now, brought to you by your Southern California Nissan dealers, begins right now.